Saturday, December 17th, 2016. You're listening to the Line Sports Talk Podcast, Week 15 Pick'em edition of the NFL. Joined in studio today by the newly knighted Pepperjack the Big Cheese. Pepperjack, congratulations. You are officially the Knight of the Round Table and the Queen of England knighted you this week. How did that feel?
It's pretty good.
Overrated?
Yeah. Well,
we find ourselves without a staple on our show here. Joey Peeps is doing something else today. He's actually busy. If I had to guess, he's chewing his own ankles off in some bear trap from somebody he picked up last night. But Joey Peeps will do what Joey Peeps does, and he'll be back with us here this week to recap the events of his weekend. So without dragging our feet any further, we got a shit game tonight, Jack. Let's talk about it. We have no sound, no music, no nothing today. So let's see if we can't go 23 and 3 or 23-2. What were we last week combined?
Actually, we won Monday Nighters, both of us, so we were 25-3 combined.
25-3 combined against the spread last week. The proof is in the pudding. Go back and listen. We hit it. That was the best week we had all year long.
I think the only game both of us lost was the Detroit-Chicago game against the spread.
And you said there was a
pick six.
There was an interception, a pick six that changed that outcome.
Sure did. So anyway, I made some money last weekend. I hope you did, and I hope our listeners did.
It was nice. That makes for a nice weekend. And like we always say, too, you just cannot handicap injuries and turnovers, and those turnovers will throw things around. We see a lot of that in the NFL. So tonight, you pointed out to me, Jack, that a lot of these games are under 40 points. 40.5 is a lot that I see, and it looks like every one of those games with that low total is an indication of just some piss-poor weather that's out there. Tonight in New York, the Miami Dolphins visit the New York Jets. Over under 38. Miami is a road 2.5-point favorite. Miami hot, and now without the services of Ryan Tannehill tonight. Tannehill's out, isn't he?
He's out.
He's out.
Matt Moore steps in.
Not the left-handed pitcher in San Francisco, but Matt Moore, the right-handed QB in Miami. Right. Miami 6-1-1 against the spread in their last 8 games. 7-1 straight up in his last 8 as well. Good cover team. What do you think?
Well, Miami's going to have to regroup after losing Ryan Tannehill last week. I know he hasn't been a stellar performer all season, but he does get the job done. Jets, on the other hand, are just a team in disarray. I think San Francisco jumped out on them 14-0 last week, and it looked like the route was on. But they did show some heart in the second half and in overtime, and I think a part of that was because of the play of Bilal Powell, who I think he's going to take this opportunity as a starter to show that he's a pretty decent running back. He's also a great receiver out of the backfield. I believe Matt Forte is out tonight. Don't know any fantasy implications out there, but if you have Bilal Powell on your waiver wire, I know it's probably week 2 of the fantasy football playoffs, but I think he's a good play. This game is it's a conference game. 2 teams that Miami's got something to play for. Jets are a little bit out of it, pretty much all out of it.
Yeah,
Computer has this game pretty much neck and neck. 2.5 points is what I have. This game is one of those stay away from games.
There is.
Because you just don't know which Jets team is going to show up. For that reason, I'm going to say it does go under the total of 38.5. I pick Miami to win this game 20-17.
Pepperjack takes the fish to win this one 20-17. This is, like you mentioned, I'm pretty undecided with how this game works out. It is a division game. Head-to-head national television. The Jets were humiliated a couple weeks ago by the Colts on Monday night. And if you're Todd Bowles, I think your message to this team all week long is do not go out there and embarrass yourself on national TV again, because that was embarrassing. That's, in the eyes of your father, your maker, your coach, do not walk out on that field and drag your ass like they did on that Monday night. I think the Jets do find a way to hang in, but probably not win this game. That under total scares me. I think you're right at it with 37 points. But I'm going to say it might sneak over on a dusty, snowy fumble from a Matt Moore or possibly Bryce Petty throwing a pick six going the other way. Look for Jay Ajayi to run down their throats tonight. I'm going to say that Miami wins this game 24-21 and slightly over that total.
All right.
That's probably that 2.5 points. That's probably pretty accurate and enough to suggest to lean that way. So, I don't know. Maybe a little bit better game. A lot of playoff implications here. Detroit travels to the other side of New York on the same stadium on Sunday. New York Giants are 3.5-point favorite. 40.5 I have as the over-under. Detroit at the New York Giants. Shed some light on it.
I was a little bit disappointed in Detroit's performance last Sunday against the Bears. You know, as we mentioned in our broadcast, the Lions have everything to play for, riding that first place in the NFC North.
That's a good team.
Yeah, they're very good. You're very good, Matt. I think they're fueled by Matt Stafford. I know he was a little banged up. I think he's got a hand issue. Came into play last weekend. Giants,
pretty
on the other hand,
break too. By the way,
what's that?
Pretty nasty looking finger. If you hadn't seen it, he busted that up pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to come into play this weekend. I think they're going to travel to New Jersey to take on another hot football team, and the team that I think is they're getting better on the defensive side of the ball, and if you've noticed, their running game has become a little bit more involved. Not a big. I think they're 9-4 going into this weekend, and I think Detroit's 9-4. Detroit's got Green Bay huffing and puffing right behind them. Giants want to keep pace with Dallas, and I think we both made that call last weekend that the Giants, we were going to find out who the real Dak Prescott is. And cold weather affects quarterbacks, and that's pretty obvious. And I think it's going to affect Matt Stafford for this weekend. I'm going with the Giants. I know that what do you have for that total, Tom? I'm sorry.
I have it at 40.5.
And it's like 3.5, right?
Yeah, 4.5. I'm sorry, 3.5 over under 40.5. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go New York Giants in this game. I think they're the better team. I think they're the better team at home, and I think the cold weather comes into play a little bit. I'm going to go Giants 24, Detroit 16. Hits right on that 40 total.
I like that. I like that play a lot. I do think that total may stay under that in some strange way. The cold weather is going to affect Matt Stafford. We learned from Derek Carr a few weeks ago with the busted finger in the cold weather. That football's tough to grip. It's going to be 33 degrees in East Rutherford on Sunday. Looks like the wind is mild at 7 miles an hour, so that shouldn't come into play. But that ball's like flinging a rock around and like catching a cinder block. I got the New York Giants 19-14, just barely covering. And I do like
Giants are 5-0 straight up in their last 5 games at home. So I gotta assume they're the team that's going to pull this one out.
I think so too. Detroit, they've been a nice cover team as well. 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games. Detroit, believe it or not, we keep pointing this out week in and week out. They're an unders team. Their total has gone under in 5 of their last 5 games. That is an unders team this late in the season. It's probably safe to play them under again. Now, if the final score here is 35-29, sorry, but I don't see that happening. Again, Pepper Jack has the Giants 24-16, and I have the Giants at 19-14. On to another game that I don't think I'll watch at all. The Birds, Philadelphia at Baltimore. Baltimore's a 6-point home favorite. Over under here, again, 40.5. That 40.5 number, we're going to be talking a little bit about that the whole day because it's everywhere. For whatever reason, I don't think Vegas wants to see a lot of touchdowns. They just don't see it in this weather. Maybe it's just late in the season. These guys are bogged down. It's got to be weather-related, right?
You know what? I know I'm stuck here in northeastern Ohio today. It's kind of like icy out. We have an icy rain coming down, so I don't know if that's going to affect Baltimore tomorrow, but I would imagine it does. Philadelphia is 5-8 on the season. Baltimore 7-6. As we mentioned, Baltimore's in the thick of things still. They can win out and they can make the playoffs. I think according to my stats, they're pretty good at home. 65% of the betting country believes Baltimore covers the 6, and Pepper Jack is going to go with the Baltimore Ravens also. I don't see a a lot of scoring, but every time we say we don't see a lot of scoring, like you said, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Baltimore 27, Philadelphia 17.
All right, we're on the same page once again. I think Baltimore's defense is pretty good. They got shellacked the other night by the best. I guess there can't be any shame in suggesting that Tom Brady is the best, because Tom Brady is the best, and he lit them up. Nobody goes for the jugular like Brady. And that Baltimore team got kicked around there in the second half the other night. I think they take it out on Philadelphia this week. They take it out on Carson Wentz defensively. I think Ryan Matthews is back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's playing. Darren Sproles will be out with the concussion this week.
Yeah. Matthews helps that running game a little bit, but that receiving core in Philadelphia needs a complete and total overhaul. Carson Wentz.
I don't see Philadelphia running on Baltimore this weekend in Baltimore.
I don't either. Philadelphia's 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games. They are a terrible cover team. 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games on the road. There is, under no circumstance could I justify taking the Philadelphia Eagles in this at all.
Pepper Jack's going out on the limb here, and I'm going to throw Baltimore -6 as my Sunday swim pick of the week.
Yeah, I like it too, man, and that's where I was leaning. Is this might be I hate to use that lead pipe lock term, but this might be your best play of the week. Baltimore they got something to play for. Philadelphia's playing for pride, and they will with the new head coach and all those things. But yeah, I'm taking Baltimore to win this game and to cover pretty handily, 26-13.
All right.
Is that over? No, that's quick math. Nope,
41 is what I got, so you're going under.
I'm going under. That is correct. And that's fairly wow. This game could potentially go over, and I don't know. Green Bay travels to Chicago, another division game. Green Bay's a 6-point road favorite. Over under here is 38.5. Weather in Chicago, I can't imagine is going to be any good. So I'm pulling that up right now. Yeah, there you have it. It's cold. It's going to be 22 degrees. Winds out of the west-northwest at 11 miles an hour. I think in Chicago, west-northwest, south-southwest, east-northeast, whatever the case might be, it's just windy. It's going to whip around a little bit. And I don't know that affects Aaron Rodgers. He's gone into Chicago in December and torched the Bears numerous times. I don't see any reason why he won't do that again. Green Bay does. I think they've found a little bit of a running game. It's not very good still. Christine Michael's not an answer. James Starks, whatever. It's not good, but it's better. They have something to lean on a little bit. Chicago's secondary is not that bad. I don't know that Aaron Rodgers throws 5 touchdowns this week, but I think that the Green Bay Packers probably win this game, probably go over the total. Maybe a little closer than one might think, but I got this Green Bay 26-20.
Well, I got this spread moving. I think did you call it at 6?
I did.
Yeah, I think that the handicappers are now at 5.5. So I don't know if that means there's some people betting on that Bears team. Apparently, Matt Barkley is going to be starting at quarterback. Alshon Jeffrey is due back. I don't know if he's playing. Green Bay, boy, they just wiped Seattle off the planet last weekend, and that team is starting to get their legs, it looks like. I know that they're looking ahead a little bit because they've got Minnesota and Detroit to end the season. They need to win out. They played their last 3 games within their division. I see them beating Chicago. I know that Computer has this game, Chicago winning outright, believe it or not.
Really?
I'm going to defy the odds, though. I'm going to stick with the hot hand and go with Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay wins this game 27-20.
We are on it. Yeah, I can't bet against Aaron Rodgers right now. The guy's hot. He is putting his money where his mouth is. He said we can run the table, and boy, I think he meant it. And if you look at Detroit's schedule going forward compared to Green Bay's schedule going forward, Detroit's got the tougher road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to come down to, I think is it Week 17, Detroit at Green Bay. That's for the division probably.
Yes, it's actually Green Bay at Detroit. So
they are
at
in
least
Detroit.
Matt Stafford will get the roof over his head for that game.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers quite deadly also indoors.
Oh. That's makes for a fun Week 17. That makes for a game that should count, and we got to appreciate that. So Going forward, Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota is at home a 4.5-point favorite. 45.5 is the